I call Monica Lennon to be followed by Alexandra Burnett.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. I'm grateful to Kenneth Gibson for bringing this debate to Parliament so that we can highlight Endometriosis Awareness Week. And I'm pleased that the key theme of this year's Awareness Week is focused on encouraging women to talk about their periods, particularly those who experience painful, heavy, difficult or irregular periods, which can be a sign of the condition. Because it seems clear that the shameful lack of awareness and understanding about endometriosis is most likely attributed to an enduring taboo around menstruation itself and the reluctance we can have in talking about it openly. Encouraging women of all ages, backgrounds and ethnicities to talk more openly about our health, our bodies and experience of menstruation is an important step in empowering women to make informed choices about their own health care. Menstruation is a natural, normal bodily function experienced by the vast majority of women of reproductive age every month of their lives. Yet the cult of silence, which so often seems to exist around periods, means that those who suffer from endometriosis find it difficult to get diagnosed and face a poor public understanding of their condition and how it affects their everyday lives. Brushing off period pain as inconvenient women's troubles makes it all the more difficult for those with endometriosis to get the help they need to deal with this painful condition, which can seriously disrupt their lives. I was shocked to discover that this condition does affect over 1.5 million women across the UK, and as Alison Harris rightly points out, this means the numbers of women affected by this condition are comparable to those affected by diabetes, and yet the awareness about endometriosis remains so woefully poor. Endometriosis is much more than just having a painful period. It is a serious gynecological health condition that can seriously impact a woman's life. And like Alison Harris, I too was struck by the experience of Lindsay, who is a co-leader for an Edinburgh-based support group who has written about her condition. Lindsay's story on how work and relationships have been affected, and the stories of other women like her, underline just how important it is that policymakers and members in this place ensure that we are working together to both raise awareness about endometriosis, to ensure that women can get diagnosed earlier, and also to invest in further research about how to improve treatment for those affected. The debilitating nature of endometriosis and the irregular bleeding, which many women who have experienced throughout their life, for me also highlights another point about the way in which we as a society talk about and cater for menstruation and women's rights to be healthy. In Scotland today, the affordability and accessibility of sanitary products remains a pressing problem for far too many women. This is an issue which I've been campaigning on, and it's something I've raised with the government numerous times in the Chamber, including during my own members' debate on sanitary products back in September last year. And like Stuart Stevenson, I normally like to talk, but I'm having difficulty with that today. Not being able to access sanitary products can happen to women for a number of reasons, due to a restriction or lack of income, perhaps due to irregular periods, which means women are caught unawares. And access can also be a problem for young women, teenagers and girls who are still in education and have little or no income of their own. Presiding Officer, I have been pushing the government to keep looking at this issue and to consider what can be done here in Scotland to alleviate this gendered inequality. Given the topic of today's debate, the issue of availability and cost of sanitary products is especially acute for those 10% of women of reproductive age who suffer from endometriosis. Perhaps that is something which the Minister could elaborate on in closing, to set out plans for how the government would consider alleviating the burden for those women with the condition. Thank you.